So, Defense Distributed is the name of my company, and the thing that we're regarded for, or at least known for, is the publication of the files for this gun. So the idea was digital manufacture of weapons would create a kind of political affront or antagonism to which the world system would have to try to respond, but couldn't do so successfully. This was the foundation of what we call the Wiki Weapon Project, that in the future, basically, we wanted to create a template for action of digital manufacture and distribution of weapons that would be a political challenge to the legacy institutions of these nation states, these great and powerful nation states. Defense Distributed began humbly. We got $20,000 from a crowdfunder online. It was briefly taken away from us, but we raised it again. Then we released a 3D printer. That 3D printer was taken away from us. That made news as well and helped us acquire more donations and more support. And then in the months from December to basically May, December 2012 to May 2013, we prototyped gun parts on 3D printers and made them work. And as we made them work, magazines, rifle receivers, and ultimately a pistol, we released them into the internet. Lastly, we finished with what we call the Liberator pistol. When that was released to the internet, the United States State Department shut us down, demanded that we bow down, and now we're involved in a regulatory process which will ultimately lead to some kind of, I'm sure, legal dispute and federal court precedents. Crypto-anarchy is basically a philosophy, or at least the strategic implementation of an anarchist philosophy expressed by Timothy May in the late 1980s. Timothy May had a background in networks and systems and the web, and he predicted that the internet, even then, back before the 90s, he predicted that the internet as a system, especially as it approached totality and bandwidths increase, this technology, in league with encryption, public key encryption, that you must have heard about since noting, would enable people to trade black market information, basically. National secrets, right? He predicted WikiLeaks. He predicted basically reputation systems like the ones we use at Amazon and eBay. Tim May expressed a world and conceived of a world where basically ideas like anonymity, reputation, and liquid markets of information would all work together toward the subversion of the state. There would just be no way to police all the things constantly happening, all the network communications on the internet, and ultimately this would affect finance and the way people live their lives, and we would have black market currencies, and cryptography itself would protect all forms and channel all forms of human action. To the ultimate detriment of these old ways of thinking about the world. The post office comes to mind, right? Email totally destroyed that, and there wasn't even a revolutionary activity. Like what happened to the post office would happen to all these legacy institutions enabled by network technologies and public key encryption and zero-knowledge systems. This was the kind of ecstatic expression of what Tim May called crypto-anarchy, and the world's been trying to stop it ever since. We believe that these systems, especially one represented by the internet, in the end can be complicit with our strategies for revolutionary activity. We really think that, especially as a global surveillance and security system approaches totality. Think of the one revealed by Edward Snowden about the NSA and the United States' activity around the world. Even as this system approaches its perfection, at the same time its total integration also makes any individual point in that system ripe for exploitation and a point of conflict and ultimately failure. We believe that we can introduce things into this system enabled by the internet that challenge the whole system itself at any point, all the time. So it's not just a world where, oh, well, now you can 3D print a gun. The internet is complicit and enables all kinds of other strategies. So all young people interested in joining the front lines don't just have to look at, well, the manufacture of guns or the manufacture of medical devices. Those are interesting things. Digital manufacture means a world where you can subvert almost any political regime of intellectual property or otherwise. But also, like, we see a world where you can challenge the financial superstructure through technologies like Bitcoin. You can enable people to communicate privately by learning how to code and helping with the deployment of public encryption into the hands of the people. Right now, it should be a kind of fanfare everywhere for the common man, enabled and empowered individually by these new technologies, instead of a kind of a dour time like we have, where we cower at the fact that these systems and these nations have so much power at their disposal. those times don't have to be. There's nothing but reasons to expect that we can have the kind of alternative world and federal world that we want, as long as people are interested in creating new projects that challenge how we think about political organization. Something like that. So there's a number of things that defense distributed combats, not beyond the state. One of these are the fantasies that structure your reality. One of the things that this project is so great at is its messages reveal the things that you believe that you didn't know you believed. And a number of these are public ideologies that we disavow and claim that aren't really ideologies at all, but I beg to differ. One of these is a Fukuyamist sense of the end of history. Many people, especially if you're just involved in mainstream politics or you just go along to get along, you're not really politically knowledgeable, you have this sense of the progressive sense of destiny of the world. In the end, we'll all get to this perfect sense of the democratic state and neoliberal capitalism. Neoliberal, I mean by this sense that, well, markets will be liberated, but they need to be managed by powerful states, and we need to open up markets and protect the world for democracy so that capital and goods can flow. There's this sense that since the 1990s, we're just going to get there. We were just facing some setbacks and some market corrections along the way, but we're going to get there, don't worry about it. Well, no, people like Defense Distributed and the people that constitute groups like that, we really believe that we're not only are we never going to get there, but we're going to go in radically different directions in different times. And that, in a sense, this sense of history as a line is an illusion and as ideology. If history is anything, it's just a train in perpetual derailment. And we want to highlight the fact that new technologies come on the scene, and not only do they change everything, they change everything. You get a revolution with your industrial revolution. And so just when we thought we would get to these new perfected forms of democratic capitalism, I expect, and many other people like me expect, that distributed technologies, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, digital manufacture of important things totally reorients how we politically organize ourselves. And in the end, software itself, the internet itself, these are anti-democratic technologies. There's a kind of semantic cat and mouse game we're playing here. I'm saying that your future will have these as a feature irrevocably from now till eternity. And this is something that's bleeding into the present. How's that national conversation going?